FIFA mods are getting bigger and better, and today I have quite possibly the biggest expansion that you can download for FC25, involving 25 new leagues added, 483 new clubs, 8 new cups, 11,000 new players, and 60 new national teams that are compatible in career mode, tournament mode, and kickoff. It just completely transforms the offline realm of the game, with realistic competition rules, updated formats, actual qualification processes for all tournaments like the Champions League, Asian Champions League, and new league licenses that EA would never bother adding to the game. You need to try the FIFA Man Mod 25 today before FC26 drops. As we wait to boot up the game now with over 2 gigabytes of new content added, I will leave the Patreon link down in the description below so you guys can go ahead, get the mod for yourselves, support the project, and have fun with it. Try it out for yourselves at home. Nothing has been deleted, and it's just been combined into this one epic database that is going to keep you entertained all summer long up until FC26 launches. It is an actual whole new world here on PC. We're going to load up the FIFA Man Pro 25 squad file and see it, bam, in action. We've loaded it up. And once you click through to the team sheet section, you're going to see the abundance of new countries and new leagues pop up, like the Kazakhstan Premier League. Who would have saw that coming? They're returning in FC26, but we don't have to wait that long for both Mexico's Liga MX and the Brazilian league, the Campeonato Brasileiro Serie A. Apparently, some teams might be returning for FC26, but we've got them right here on FC25, the whole division. And better yet, the players are actually real. They've got their 2D mini faces. They aren't just generic unlicensed players with no images. We have the proper realistic squad roster with all updated mini faces and photos. And you get this experience not just for the Brazilian league, but all of the brand new 25 leagues added to the game. It's on a whole nother different level. Let's just pick out a random team in Bulgaria. I don't know, Lokomotiv Sofia. Let's take a look at their team, and every single player has got a 2D profile picture. You can put a name, a face to the name, a name to the face. I'm telling you, this mod has got you covered with so many details. Now let's get into what it comes with one by one. In alphabetical order, the new leagues arriving with this mod include the Azerbaijan Premier League, of course with every club's kits, badges, and the league logo. The Brazilian Serie A, which we've already covered. The Bulgarian IFBet Liga, which again, I don't think has ever featured in a FIFA game before. We've got the Cypriot League, and you might notice a couple teams in here like Apoel, who featured in the Champions Leagues over the years, and that's about it, but hey, at least it's here. We have the first division in Czechia, which is called the Chance Liga, and it's got all of its teams, of course. I just will quickly scroll through them so you can tell the likes of Sparta Praha and Victoria Plzeň are featured in the rest of world category, but now that you can actually play a proper career mode with them. And hey, what's this team doing with a kangaroo on their badge? Bohemians Prague 1905 with a little Australian homage on the club logo. We've also got a slight little rip-off of the OG Juventus logo and a team called Sigma Olomouc. Now, even if you're unfamiliar with any of these leagues and teams, you're going to learn a few things. You're going to discover so many nooks and crannies of the football world that you've never seen before. And of course, we've got the Cypriot League. We now have the Greek Super League in its full glory. AEK Athens, Olympiakos, Panathinaikos have all featured in FIFA before, PAOK even. But now the whole league gets represented for the first time ever. And you might recognize PAS Lamia, which the failed wonder kid Hashim Mastor once played for. I feel like the Greek Super League is probably one of the most highly requested leagues fans want in the game, including the Hungarian Nemezeti Bajinongzag. I know I've completely butchered that pronunciation, but forgive me. Ferencvaros have been in the Champions League and the Europa League in recent seasons, and now you can actually do a career mode with them with the rest of the league involved. The top flight is here. And I've got to say, some of these badges are absolutely top class. Now I'm just craving a Hungarian career mode out of nowhere. It's amazing what this mod is bringing to the table. And of course, you've got your international teams and some new nations covered. We have 60 new nations involved in the international scene. I'm just going to quickly scroll through them so you can see the scope and size of this mod and what the database comes with. You've got the likes of Hong Kong, India's back, Indonesia, Asia, Iran. So it makes the 48-team World Cup possible, the Euros, of course the Copa America can be played now in career mode and tournament mode, the Gold Cup even. It just completely expands the international management experience, and so it should. I mean, we've been deprived for so many years, and I can't believe we need mods to get some of these nations in the game, like, you know, Vietnam, Venezuela, Uzbekistan, and Uruguay, who've been robbed from us for so long now. So that's another element that is included in this mod. And of course, the Kazakhstan Premier League, which we did cover before. You might recognize Astana in here. They did feature in the Champions League, I believe, somewhat in the last 10 years or so. But yeah, the rest of them, 1-star, 1.5-star teams, 2-star teams. It would be a cool road to glory experience, trying to get one of these sides into the Champions League, or, you know, go through that huge qualification process. Mate, this club here, some of these badges bring so much aura with the wolf, the horse. This Man City wannabe ripoff is just killing the vibe. But on we go to, of course, Liga MX. I'm going to give you a little quick sneak preview of it, considering we will be getting it back in FC 26. So don't you worry. This will be in the game without the need for mods, but it's also included right here. We will see players like Sergio Ramos, Oliver Torres, Corona, and Ocampos back in the game for good. And the likes of some of the biggest clubs in the world, like Club America, UNAM, Guadalajara, Leon, who are actually omitted from playing in the Club World Cup. They qualified, but, you know, because of multi-club ownership or something, they were excluded from the tournament. We could have seen James Rodriguez balling out in America this summer, just like we did last year at the Copa America, but no, it was stripped away from us, just like the Mexican League has been for years now in the game. The next league we have is over in Qatar, the Qatar Stars League. I'm surprised this one never featured in a title before, considering the 2022 World Cup. Like, it would have been cool to see not only the nation brought into the game, but the whole entire league, and to, you know, it would have been great for the growth of the game over in Qatar, besides just hosting the World Cup. They're here, and they're bringing some sauce. I like the aesthetic of some of these clubs, because again, I don't really know much about them, but they do love their Eagles over there. Now, in addition to the rest of the world category, which is now just reduced to the MLS All-Stars and the Soccer Aid team, we get the additional rest of league categories, such as the rest of Europe, the rest of Asia, the rest of America, and the rest of Africa. We'll start off in Africa, where we've got such a wide array of teams from all over the continent, and that's because the African Champions League is now playable here in FC 25, and you've got some of the best teams in all of Africa. Big ups to Pyramids FC, big ups to Simba. You've got 16 African giants over in the rest of America. We have got some more clubs that are willing to participate in the Copa Libertadores, Copa Sudamericana. So there is a mega list now of clubs from South America and just the Americas in general. This mod covers so many corners of the globe. It definitely, yeah, there's something here for everyone, no matter where you're from. And the rest of Asia, we have got some clubs from Qatar, the UAE, 26 top clubs that are frequently participating in the AFC like competitions, like the Asian Cup, the Asian Champions League Elite, and the Asian Champions League 2, as it's now called. So yeah, 26 teams from all different countries in Asia. You've got so much representation here. You've even got Auckland City, who are part of Oceania. They've just been thrown in here to see how they can compete in the Asian Champions League, if you can qualify them. But yeah, considering Konami's usually been the one to hold so many of the Asian licenses now. They've got Japan, they've got the Thai League, they've got so many of these Asian markets under their sleeve, but now we've got a few here to test out in FC 25. Big up Tractor FC. Those are my goats. Tractor FC. Imagine that, putting Tractor FC in the Farmers League. That would just be poetry. And we have got the rest of Europe, 40 of the best teams from Europe that aren't already in the game, obviously, from all across the continent, based on their UEFA coefficient ranks and based on how many times they actually show up in like the Champions League qualifiers, the Europa League qualifiers, and the Conference League qualifiers now that are actually going on right now in real life as you're watching this video. So these are basically the teams that are going to fill up from the qualification stage of the Champions League, which this mod provides. Yeah, that's right. We've got all 4 qualifying rounds of the Champions League competition waiting for us in career mode, which I'll show off a little bit later. But but this is what it kind of looks like. You got the first round, second round, third round, the playoff qualification, and then the actual expanded Champions League group stage, which we're now all acclimatized to. But yeah, in the base game, you haven't got these 3 qualification rounds over here. It's only that playoff qualification final. And that goes the same for the likes of the Europa League too. You've got all 3 prior qualification rounds before the actual group stages kick off, which provides a lot more depth to your road to glory career saves, especially if you're picking one of these random teams in Europe, one of the lower ranked teams overall, but are kind of like, you know, the best of Kazakhstan or the best of Cyprus. They have to go through all these Conference League, Europa League qualification. They don't get that automatic European football. And look at the games. Look at how many rounds you have to go through against teams that you've probably never heard of in your life before, just to make it to the Conference League, which would be such a big deal for your club. And that goes not only just for the European circuit, but also for the AFC Champions League Elite over here in Asia. We've got the first 2 qualification rounds, the realistic qualification process, and then obviously the updated group stages and the upgraded format that all of these competitions have now changed through. They've gone through a little bit of a rebrand in recent years. And of course, EA have failed to keep up and update the competitions. Now for the Copa Libertadores, we have the first 3 qualification rounds for the tournament, and then, you know, things proceed as normal. I know what you're thinking. Why is Inter Miami in the Copa Libertadores? No, it's not just another scam way that FIFA can let Messi have an opportunity to win another trophy. It's more that this mod allows MLS teams and Mexican clubs to compete in the Copa Libertadores. So that's just a little heads up as we transition to the next league added, and that is actually the Russian Premier League and multiple divisions of Russian football. I think we've got all the way down to the 5th tier. So we've got 5 playable divisions in Russia. And if you're wondering why Russia, why does Russia get this treatment? The maker of this mod, the mod creator, is actually from Russia. So not only do we have the first division back after so long, it's been removed since FIFA 22, including the national team too. So it's good to see them finally make a return. Even though they're banned from European competition, that's another story, another topic for another day. But in this mod, you can technically play with the Russian teams, qualify them for Europe, even go on a Russian road to glory. We've never had the 2nd division in here. We've never had the 3rd division of Russia. And we definitely will never ever have the 4th and 5th tier. So I guess the world is your oyster here. If you're a Russian football fan, I don't know any Russians that would be watching my video, but I'm sure this probably feels like the best day ever. And not only that, the Russian football fans, the news gets even better, as over in the tournament mode for the men's cups, if you scroll all the way to the end, you're going to see the Russian Street Champions Trophy. I guess it's like the Russian FA Cup. It pretty much includes every single team in Russia in one tournament, and it goes absolutely crazy. I mean, there is like literally teams ranging from half a star to 4 stars, first teams and their second teams and their academy teams. It's just all thrown into one big tournament. I've never heard of it before, but apparently it's a famous competition over in Russia. And yeah, I guess you can have full access to the entire tournament. There's even a qualification process for it. It's one of the most biggest and most complex tournaments I've ever seen actually featured in a FIFA game, modded or not. Yeah, the Russian Street Champions Cup. Give it a go. And with this mod having so much Russian content in the game, you can also expect with the big clubs in the nation that you're going to see every single player pretty much have a face scan and have a face mod in the game. Hey, we've even got Miralem Pjanic over here at CSK Moscow. Yeah, every single player pretty much has a game face. So if you are to do a Russian career mode, you're pretty much covered. You only get that treatment for the top clubs in the country, but yeah, I guess it's worth it at the end of the day. You definitely get some more face modded benefits if you do pick the biggest clubs in the country, and all the star players of the league all have custom face scans, which is a pretty nice touch. Now, I can't say the same for the rest of the leagues and teams added, but at least they're here, like the Serbian Superliga. Again, Red Star Belgrade have been in FIFA before, but you've never been able to play the entire Serbian league. They've always just been banished to the rest of the world category on their own. We've got Partizan Belgrade now. You can do the famous Serbian derby. You can see the wild atmospheres go off in the crowd. The flair and the pyrotechnics that the Serbian fans bring is going to come alive here with this mod. And I just love how you could pick out a random team in Serbia. Let's just say Kukariki, and you could load up their roster and see every single player. They've got a a 2D profile picture. They've actually got a photo, even the reserves, even the bench players, no matter what rating they are. And you get exposure to some talents and hidden gems that you've probably never ever heard of before. Next up from Serbia, it's Slovakia, the Nike Liga. The Nike Liga, the Nike Liga, I'm not quite sure how to pronounce it, but every Serbian club is now in the game, and we did have, I believe, Slovan Bratislava in the Champions League 2 seasons back, I want to say. They've now returned to the game alongside their entire team, and I mean, it covers them pretty deep. It's got their entire roster, every team in the league, every kit, every badge, even, oh my days, is that a dragon? Zemplin. I gotta say, I'm attracted to this club, and it's good to see that they also get the same treatment as some of the biggest clubs in the country. I don't know, is it just me who hates like playing as a team and none of them have 2D mini faces? It's just a pet peeve of mine. As we head over to their neighbors in Slovenia, we've got the Prva Liga. It's the top flight of Slovenian football. It's a league you never knew you wanted, but now you do. After seeing it here in the game, we've got Maribor. I remember them in either the Champions League or the Europa League. Someone back me up here, as they've got an Englishman, Ojo. Didn't he used to play for Liverpool? Wait, hold on. That's a former Frosinone player, Kranic. And then we've got Josip Ilicic in here as well. Like, you never know who you're going to stumble across in these random leagues all over Europe. I swear, this database is so fun. Not only do we get more career save ideas, but more players, more clubs, and more destinations for you to manage in. Like, has anyone ever managed in the Ukrainian Premier League before? I don't think so. Maybe on Football Manager, but that's besides the point here. We've always had the likes of Shakhtar Donetsk, and there's another big club in here, Dynamo Kiev, in the base game of FIFA, but never the entire league. This badge has so much aura about them. I feel inclined to check out their team, and I'm not gonna lie, pretty alright club. Like, look, you got some hidden gem talents that aren't in the game, and it just opens up the playing field. You get so much more freedom of choice. We've got Ingulets Petrov, who have an angry man with a shovel on their badge. Like, come on, where else are you gonna find this? What? Like, come on, this might be my club, my spirit animal club. Ingulets Petrove, you've got a fan in me just for that club logo. I love it. Oh, brother, they've even got it on the kits, man. This mod might be worth the download for this team alone. It might be the worst team in the league, but oh my days, those kits make up for it. Take my money. And then last, but certainly not least, we have the United Arab Emirates here with the UAE Pro League. Another Arabic competition thrown into the mix, and again, you can compete in the Asian Champions League with any of these sides too. I just love the culture and different vibes that come across with these club logos, like especially over here in the UAE. You've got trees on one badge, and then you scroll over here where you've got a camel, you've got some palm trees and a temple, you've got an eagle that has the eye of a soccer ball, you've got a sand castle over here. Like, it is just the variety and the flair that gets shown off in some of these leagues that we're never going to see in FIFA. It's just absolutely off the charts, and I can't wait to see how all of these clubs and all the leagues play out in career mode. Oh my, what the hell? Is that Paco Alcacer? What is he doing over here in the UAE? Sharjah FC have the Spaniard up front. Brother, that's like a 3 a.m. find. This is a mythical pool. I don't know how I spotted that one, but here he is. Another massive W, I guess, that has completely escaped my mind. You get removed players from the game that aren't in the base game database. You can sign them in career mode. You can do a player career with them. And not only do we get all these new leagues, new clubs, new players, but also the managers that come along with them. For example, over here in Serbia, we've got the real world coaches, the real world managers at the helm. I don't think any of them have a proper face cam, but it's just cool to see that the attention to detail has gone into leagues like Slovenia, where most of these names you're probably not going to recognize unless you're actually from one of these countries or follow the football of that country closely. But there are some managers out here that'll surprise you, just like their players, like Paulo Sousa. What club is that? I don't even know where he is. He's at Shabab Al Ahly. And of course, you unlock every manager in the game from every other league besides the ones that have been added with this mod. So like the MLS, you get all the managers there. Everything's unlocked in Germany and France, so that's just a given. But I want to run you through all the newly added managers in all of these leagues. leagues just to make sure I don't miss any details or any other added benefits that I come across. You never know what could slip under the hood over here. Brazilian league isn't covered all too well. Like, there is a lot of no-face managers. The faces don't really match up, so that could be improved. But the likes of Bulgaria, every real-world manager is just a treat, man. It's honestly so cool to see. Croatia, we've got Fabio Cannavaro and Gennaro Gattuso. He's going to be the Italian national team manager, so I don't think he's managing at Hajduk Split anymore. But yeah, two Italian legends. The Cypriot League, are there any random names we're going to see come across? I've probably missed a few whilst I've been going through these manager rosters, but the Czech League doesn't have any familiar faces. Over in Greece, though, we do have one face-scanned manager, Mendilibar of Spain, but as for the rest of them, they're all generic. Hungary have one of the weirdest manager appointments I've ever seen. Robbie Keane. But, like, did I miss a meeting? When did this happen? He's now at the helm of Ferencváros, and I mean, good on him. I'm almost tempted to spark up a career save with him, but I just want to double check and see if there aren't any other manager surprises lurking. Nothing. But over in Mexico, we've got, I thought we would have had someone cool in Mexico, but no one's really tickling my fancy. You would think the Qatari money would bring in some high-profile managers, but no, Qatar's pretty tame. We also have the full manager lists for the likes of rest of America, rest of Asia, and rest of Europe, just in case you were wondering. But again, there aren't many manager club save ideas that are really tickling my fancy besides this guy with a cap. I've never seen a manager wear a cap like that in career mode. Well, what is going on? That is until we reach the Russian league, where we've got a couple of custom faces in here. Okay, we've got a few managers that are covered. Zenit's manager, Samak. Marcel Lika at Dynamo Moscow. We've got the Ruben Kazan boss and Andrei Talaleyev. And also the guy in charge of Krasnodar. But does this continue in the other divisions in Russia? And, oh, we've got this guy, Igor Shalimov, who looks like a mafia mob boss. I wouldn't want to mess with him. I wouldn't want to get on his bad side. Oh my god, again I've seen it. Another manager wearing a cap over here in like the 4th or 5th division of Russia. He's got a hashtag swag snapback on, like it's 2012 all over again. What an absolute Chad. Oh, this guy again. What is with it? All these managers now having caps. The managers just get funky down here. We've got a snapback with the long hair combo. We've got this guy with a sweatband on from the 80s. Rocking the 80s mullet, I should say. Like, this is just the vibiest league of all time. The 5th tier of Russia is where you want to be. Now we're going to hop into a career mode save to show you how all of these updated competitions and these new leagues play out in the game and what to expect when you have this mod and this huge database installed. Now once you load up your fresh new save with any team in the game, really, doesn't even need to be a team that is added. Every single new league now in the game, like the Azerbaijan Premier League, and then you can continue to scroll and see all the leagues in your game now. Even the African League, rest of America, rest of Asia, rest of Europe have their own like leagues to themselves, so it's not just like the rest of the world category where the teams are just there existing. No, this is an actual full league of African teams, a full league of Asian teams just by themselves, so they're not entirely useless. They're actually operating within the career mode world, playing games week in, week out, and you can freely check in on every single competition, newly added league, and see it all unfold around you, because it definitely spices up the career mode landscape. And in terms of players, there are a lot more free agent opportunities hiding in the free agency and just on the free market in general. So make sure you keep an eye out for them, because 11,000 new players in the game, that is definitely room to sign players that you've never ever signed before, players that you've never played with or heard of. They're not only going to be playing career mode differently, but you're also going to be learning more about world football. It's an educational mod at the end of the day. Now I want to check in on all of the updated qualification rounds in the Champions League. We can see we're in like the first round of qualifiers, and there is a whole bunch of matches to be played, and it's only July. Same goes in the Europa League, where there are less games, but still qualification rounds are in progress, and you're going to have that proper qualification feel, especially if you're doing a road to glory. You have to do things the hard way when it comes to qualifying, and it's a World Cup year, so we might as well check out the 2026 World Cup right here. We've got the group stages, where of course 48 teams. We've got the expanded format with 60 new nations. Obviously, it's not the exact, qualification teams that have actually made it in in real life yet because we don't know who have made it in real life at the recording of this video, but you can still see the round of 32 is marked as round 1, but this is the first stage of the knockouts and the round of 16 and so on and so forth. Oh my god, the qualifiers are absolutely brutal. One on the Wednesday and then one on the Friday. And same goes for the Euros and Copa America. I'm gonna have to simulate to 2028 for those, but this, okay, England, the 3 Lions are taking it home according to this mod. And there we have it. Every single round of the qualifiers have been played, and in the playoff round, the one that's only in the base game, played over 2 legs, it's been decided, and now the real competition can kick off. But it's nice to have those realistic details where you can experience that true grind of qualifying with one of the smaller teams in Europe. I've accidentally simulated past it, but this mod has the FIFA Club World Cup in 2025 in case you wanted to give it a go. But in case you wanted more of the realistic experience, I've already made a Club World Cup mods video, so make sure to go check that one out if you haven't already. Look, I know this mod is purely focused on the club side of things and like all the club competitions added, but it does have you covered in the international scene, and that's why I just wanted to show you the 2028 Euros. We had a rematch of the 2020 final, England versus Italy. The 3 Lions get their revenge, and I guess football came home, but that's not the point. I wanted to show you the updated formats going into the 2028 Euros. For some reason, they're changing it from the 4 teams in a group to this like 5-team group stage. Honestly, I don't know what UEFA's cooking here. I don't think it's on many people's radars yet. Like, no one really kind of has gotten around this or known what's going on. But for some reason in Group H, there are 6 teams, but then in the rest, there are 5 teams in a group with 4 games played for each team. I don't know if this is 100% confirmed or this is just like a new test they're trying out or something. Who knows? I guess we'll find out in 3 years, but it still does split off into the round of 16. I'm just really confused about those group stages, but nonetheless, the Euros 2028 with the updated qualification and the updated actual tournament format is here, alongside the long-removed Copa America, which hasn't been in the game since FIFA 21. It is now returned with this mod, the Continental Copa America, with Mexico winning 3-1 in the final. What a result, as they're not even from South America. But nonetheless, the group stages pretty much stay the same here. You've got 4 groups of 4. I think you've got 4 invited nations: Canada, USA, Mexico, and Honduras, and also Jamaica. So I guess this is the way forward now for the Copa America. It splits off into the quarterfinals like we all know, and now both continental competitions are playable in career mode again with the correct format, which just comes in clutch. Oh, hold on, we've also got the Africa Cup of Nations. Why couldn't I wasn't able to view this whatsoever in the standings tab, but apparently the Africa Cup of Nations has happened. It's usually going on in January, but in this career mode, I guess, watch out for it. If you do get this mod, it happens in the summer. So we've got Algeria winning the Africa Cup of Nations here. That's the team of the tournament. But there we go. You're covered in every single format. But there you go. It looks like every single continent is covered. And okay, I guess I'll eat my words. The Asian Cup is here as well, with Saudi Arabia taking it home. The AFC Asian Cup is now in the game for the first time ever. But what a summer you have to look forward to. Not only just one Euros competition like you would have in the base game, but 4 continental competitions happening at the same time here in 2028. This is how it should be. Now, speaking of the Asian Cup, we have the AFC Champions League Elites, and this is how the qualification process looks. We have got the tournament, which has actually never been in FIFA before, which is sad to see, or it's never been actually properly licensed. Neither is it licensed, or neither does it have the correct format in the base game, in the vanilla version. We're here with Tractor FC in the first round qualifiers. So let's see exactly how this format pans out. And here is the full scope view of the entire Champions League Elites here in Asia. The 2 qualifying rounds at the start. Unfortunately, the Tractor boys couldn't get up, losing 7-2 on aggregate, but we push on as it now has been transformed into like a 2-group format with like, it's kind of like what the Champions League is now, but kind of split in half. So you've got one Group A of 12 and Group B of 12. So 24 teams split in 2. Not only has the UCL undergone a similar change, but now there's been a major reformatting here in Asia. And once they play 8 games in the group stage, they then progress to the round of 16, quarterfinals, semi-finals, and in the big dance, it was Al Ain FC. But yeah, no Saudi or Japanese teams making it to the final. It was the team from the UAE to come through and claim the crown of the champions of Asia. And there you have it. Not only has the competition format changed, but the trophy has changed over the years. The trophy looks bigger and better than ever, just like the Asian Cup. And for all the South Americans out there, we have got all 3 qualifying rounds for the Copa Libertadores before the main competition starts. So again, making it even more of a grind to qualify. And out of all the major continental club competitions in world football right now, it looks like the Libertadores has pretty much stayed traditional, stayed the same, which obviously isn't a bad thing. It's still sticking to this 4-team group stage format. However, this is how it looks with both Mexican and MLS teams participating and able to qualify, like the New York Red Bulls and Minnesota United. So there is a little bit of a twist on this competition if you are to install this mod. And just to top it all off, just in case you wanted to give these new tournaments a test run without being in career mode, they are playable in tournament mode exclusively. So what you want to do is head over to the domestic tournaments, hit the men's cups, and then pretty much every single competition that has Erling Haaland standing here as the picture instead of like an actual trophy, that's a new tournament that this mod adds. So for example, the FIFA Club World Cup, you just hit enter, and then you get the actual format ready for you to chop and change the teams if you please. We've also got, if you scroll all the way to the end here, we have the AFC Asian Cup you can play out, which is like the Euros and Copa America for Asia, as you can see here with all the new national teams. The AFC Champions League Elite, which we've already covered in career mode, but it's good to have that option here in tournament mode just in case you want to see how it actually plays out. And of course, the Africa Cup of Nations, which is, again, one of the most highly requested tournaments and licenses that fans want in the game. It'll be huge if EA could secure that licensing, but they just don't really seem to care about international football, and that's where mods have to come in, like the Copa America, which hasn't been in the game for ages now. The only 2 tournaments missing are the Euros and World Cup, not playable in tournament mode. Otherwise, it's every man for themselves. This is how the Africa Cup of Nations look like. 4 groups of 4. We all saw it in real life. One of the most chaotic and hectic tournaments. One of the most underrated national team competitions in the game. And I believe at the start of 2024, the last one, there was like no way to actually play it and experience it in a football game. So it's cool to see both the AFCON and Asia Cup both have their place here in the game thanks to the FIFA Man mod. And the same format goes here for the Asian Cup, 4 groups of 4, traditional with it. And that's where I'll leave you with it. I've shown you the keys to the kingdom. Now I'll let the mod speak for itself. Again, if you're interested in checking it out, I'll leave it linked down in the description below. Make sure to support FIFA Man in quite possibly the biggest FIFA mod ever, a mod with the most content ever. So make sure you give it a go, try it out for yourselves before FC26. Check out the Patreon, the link will be down below, of course. And if you want access to all the mods that I use and have shown off in the videos this game cycle, make sure to check my link tree down below. It's all there ready for you to explore. And of course, I've been your boy Sir BCHD. Thanks for making it all the way to the end. I appreciate all your support, and I'll catch you lot in the very next video. Bye bye.